Hey everybody, welcome to Don's Den. My guest today is you all know him, working with me on The Wire, Seth Gilliam. Man, it's been a really long time since we looked at each other. It's usually been text messages or via Gerald, and so this is a real treat for me because there are things that I want to do with this podcast, and I kind of want to revisit The Wire, which I haven't done in a really, really long time. And you know, I was always sensitive about watching my stuff, but I think I kind of want to go in that direction, and I had to bring you on because I get so many questions, and when it comes to The Wire, and I spoke to you briefly about this. Did you guys know each other? Did you guys work together before? Did you guys? And I'm like, no, we actually, Seth and I, we were in other projects together, but we never actually worked together. We knew a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
So when we shot the pilot, and the pilot, I didn't think it was going to get picked up. Did you?
No, I didn't.
No, and why? Why, Seth?
I thought it was a little talky. You know, and it seemed very slow moving. I was like, when is something going to actually happen? But the happening was the people being people, you know, which was kind of different to TV at that time, I think.
I not so much for those reasons. I thought, I didn't think people were ready for something like that. You know, what we were doing. Just at that particular time, there really wasn't anything on television as socially conscious as what David was trying to do with this show, or what we did do with the show. And to the point, I'll bring up an example. There was an episode where Seth and I, both about Herc and Carver, they're raiding one of the towers, and we stumble upon money. We flip over this mattress, we see money, we put it in our vest, and we go. And later that day, now Seth and I, we were living together. We said, you know what? If the show gets picked up, we'll live together. We'll build this camaraderie, and we could basically finish each other's lines and stuff like that. And working with Seth was easy. Those were the easy days.
Yeah.
those for me, those were the easy days. And I would always look at. I'm going to go back to I just want to finish this point with the putting money in the vest. So now, being that we're living together, we go home, and I tell Seth, you know, I don't know. I think it's over. You know, because you would do these Law and Order shows, you would do these network shows, you steal.
Yeah.
That is the nail in the coffin for them to write you off a show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're thinking, you know, well, maybe we could still make pilot season.
That is hilarious.
Us two knuckleheads, right? And we never saw David. It's like David Simon was like working in a cave, right? Every now and then he would pop up, and so he takes the meeting. He calls us into the office, and we're like, you know, we see that we're robbing money and stuff like that, and should we tell our reps, you know, to stop looking for us stuff? He's like, you fucking idiots. He goes, no. He goes, you buy a new truck and you build a deck in the back of your house. He goes, this happens every day in Baltimore. We're like, okay. That's when I knew what type of show I was doing.
That's real life.
I was like, this is no network bullshit kind of fucking show. This is the real deal.
That's terrific.
And Seth and I, we were one of the very few to go all the way to the 5th season.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something like 50-something episodes.
It's incredible.
And but that was an a crazy experience.
Were you living in a house or an apartment?
We rented an apartment.
An apartment. Was it like in Oakwoods? Was it
Oakwoods on Charles Street? Was it Charles Street? Yeah.
Yeah.
And two different people, but somehow we got along. And our house is like a fraternity house. People were just coming in, and we welcomed everybody.
Yeah. We had those Madden tournaments.
Yes.
Drug dealers versus the cops.
Oh man, to be a fly on a wall.
I could not beat him, and then we would have our own little private games. He had the GameCube at the time, and he would play with the Jets. And I'm like, the Jets suck.
And he'd still beat you.
Right? But the problem was Seth didn't suck. And I can never beat him. I wasn't a video game kind of guy.
Well, I couldn't. Remember when Andre Royo came over one night and just beat everybody like back to back till like 3 or 4 in the morning using Jim Brown.
Was it Andre or was it Corey?
From 1965.
What was that?
No, it was Andre Royo playing with Jim Brown and the Cleveland Browns of like 1965 and just running over everybody. I was like, how the fuck are you running this? There's no way to run in Madden. He's running back and forth and up and down. Yeah.
Jim Brown ran over like old white guys.
Yeah.
That's what he did. That was his job.
It's safe to say 15 years later, the Jets still suck.
But you need have consistency in life, you know what I mean? Some things have to be just set in stone.
How long did you guys live together?
We lived together that first season, and then we kind of always lived in the same area.
We got apartments in the next that place by the river on the other side of the
Tendeco.
Tendeco Wharf. Yeah.
We just never knew what the situation was with the show, because I think like David really had to constantly go back and pull the rabbit out of the hat to get another season. Mm-hmm. So we always shot a season thinking it would be our last season.
And they'd kill you off without letting you know until it was done, right?
Well, the second season came, and Seth and I were basically reduced to second unit. And doing surveillance stuff.
Stormed into David Simon's office over that too, remember?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? You got to give us something to do? I feel like you're George Steinbrenner and you just picked up the biggest free agent and put him at the end of the bench because you didn't want to get beat by him, but you won't let him play. You know, let us play. And he's like, no, use that frustration. You need that.
In retrospect,
that's great.
It was kind of a blessing in disguise, because we got to work with hands-on all the time with Bob Colesbury, who wound up passing away, who was a great guy, a great producer. He was, I would say, the eyes of the show, and David would be the ears of the show. They just complemented each other really well. Bob brought a lot to the table. Yeah. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And so it was a blessing. I really enjoyed working with him because he was hands-on. He was directing all that second unit stuff. And Seth and I were just running from fucking spiders.
Yeah.
Remember the spider?
I remember the spider. And then I remember Bob going, let's set up a shot to zoom in slowly on the web. And there'll be no dialogue.
Oh. And so he's showing us, oh God, what do they call that? When they sketch the scene and they storyboard. Right? And he just has like these circles. They're like stick figures. Yeah. And Seth, but they both look the same. And Seth goes, so Bob, which one am I? And this was a fucking insult to me. He just puts like 2 hairs on one, and he goes, the one with the hairs is Seth. But I will say, at that particular time, Seth was established. If Seth was on a set, they knew what they were getting. They were getting a classically trained actor. They were getting a professional. You knew what you were getting. I mean, you studied acting. You SUNY Purchase. Me, I was in whatever the shade of green where you're leaving green. That's where I was. Mm-hmm. Okay, I learned from working with Seth. I learned from working with all these people. I would constantly look at them all the time, see what they would do, not to mimic them, but just to see how maybe they carried themselves, what their approach was. Like, I remember this, and I still do this to the day, and I got it from Seth. Seth would write all his lines out.
By hand.
Yeah.
That's a good way to remember.
He would write them out. And I said, okay, I don't have anybody to really read with me. I mean, I made some modifications for myself. I would write things out, but for me, I need to always have a reader with me and hear it out, as you guys know, and then I get it. But it's like these little things that I was picking up. It was a school for me. Don West, Seth, Clark. I mean, you name it, all of them. You know, and so it's difficult for me to talk about The Wire sometimes. So Seth would say, why don't you watch it? Why don't you watch? They would have parties. He'll tell you. They would have parties. I wouldn't go. I would say, let me know when it's over, and I'll come for the drinks.
Wow.
And that's still something that I carry today. I still do that.
So interesting.
I don't want to go to premieres. I don't want to do any of that stuff.
It's interesting because the thought that I had behind it was, all right, he doesn't want to mess up what he's going to do tomorrow by obsessing over what he did today. You know what I mean? He's he doesn't want to get in his head about the performances. And also part of me was kind of insulted. I'm like, dude, I think I'm fucking great. You need to watch my fucking work. All right, you know what I mean? Somebody has me on screen.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He makes a good point.
He does.
It's a tough trigger. It's a tough trigger to pull.
Yeah.
It really is, because you admire your colleagues, and at the same time you don't want them to get offended. But what Seth is saying is I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know how that was played. I don't want to. I want everything to always be fresh. I don't. I have a really bad habit of locking things in my head. Things rent space in my head, and I can't. When it comes to work, I can't allow that to happen. And he understood. He would tell me, that came out good. He was like a therapist sometimes, and I needed that because Seth was older. Seth was more experienced, and and that's where all that camaraderie. That's why those scenes were easy for me.
Now that you're so far removed from it, you got to go back and watch some of that stuff.
It's tough.
It's still tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's tough for me to go back and watch it too. Because I said this before, but it's like looking at a photo album, old pictures of an ex-girlfriend that you really loved who, it didn't work out. It's kind of bittersweet. It's like, oh, well, it's beautiful, it's fresh, it's new, it's open, but it can never happen again. So, oh my God,
Well, personally, I gotta say thank you to both of you, because as soon as he told me you were coming on, I haven't watched The Wire since I ran through it all, a decade ago, whatever it was. So I was like, you know what, now it's time for me to go dip back into this. And just watching, like you said, even from the first episode, it's like when I first watched it, I was like, maybe this is a little slow for me, but I so caught on to the characters and the character development, and I was like all about it. So now it's like I'm going back and I'm watching it again. But had this not happened, I would have no reason to go back and just rewatch the show. But now I'm into it, so I got my wife rewatching it as well. But
cool.
There's so much, not just you guys together on the show. There's so much magnetism in the scenes with the people going back and forth and the way they approach things. And there's just so many good fucking actors in the show. I mean, you look at you can watch any episode and you'll see 4 people that have gone on to do other things that you recognize them from. It's like it was well casted, well written. It stands the test of time, and it was so fucking different than anything else that was on television at that time. It really was.
I mean, there were actors that came on that show that became actors because that was their first job, and they delivered. And now, after that show, they were considered actors. I mean, that was the genius, I think, behind what Ed and Nina and David, what they were doing, and Bob at the time in the beginning, was let's mix the pot. Let's mix the pot. We need, like, bringing Felicia. Come on, it's fucking genius.
Yeah.
On the back of the bike. I think she still delivers one of my favorite lines. How's
Cadillac
my hair?
Guy?
No. Before she gets killed. How's my hair?
Ugh.
And I mean, but you've been on. See, here's the thing. You've been on Oz, The Wire, The Walking Dead. All these three different shows,
big hits.
but huge hits.
Yeah.
Huge hits, and a lot of the roles you play cops, military personnel, priest. You play. It's
Father Gabriel. Where did that come from?
It's kind of like
I hated the man, then loved the man, then hated the man. I said anybody that could mess with your emotion. No, anybody that could mess with your emotion.
Kill people already. Forget about it. It's over. There is no God.
I really felt like going through the screen.
Hey, but that's good. That's good television.
That is good television.
When you start taking serious what's in that box.
Yeah.
And it wheels you in.
Yeah.
It's then somebody, the actor, the writing, the show itself, to some sort of and something to do with the production, is they're on point.
Yeah, and there weren't DVRs back then, really. So it's like you had to wait till the night the episode was on, and you'd watch it with all your friends. That was a big thing too, like having like watch parties and shit. That was that was cool.
I thought they would they were bringing a lot of Wire guys on the show. I thought I was gonna make it. Like one of the warriors.
I could see you as one of the bad guys.
Yeah.
One of the cannibal Italians.
I was on the Grand Concourse the whole time. What's going on?
I'm
in Georgia.
There's zombies in Morris Park. Go.
All right, Seth. How did it all start for you? Where did the passion come from?
I used to watch a lot of TV when I was a kid, and a lot of them died off now. But I used to have a very large family, and found that if I did impersonations, like during Thanksgiving dinners, I got extra stuff. So I used to do Marlon Brando. Then I moved into the Robert De Niro Taxi Driver phase, which I think kind of frightened people a bit, because Travis Bickle was a psychopath, really. Though he's a hero to me. I love that movie. And from there, I used to disrupt classes in my junior high school by doing impersonations or telling jokes when the teacher's back was to us. And I had one social studies teacher who told me that I needed to join the drama department to work out some of my excess energy. So I did, and my drama teacher at the time had such a love for acting and playing and pretending and being anything that you wanted to be or anything that you could possibly be. She told me about the high school performing arts and helped me with my monologues. You got to do like 2 monologues and a cold reading, a classical monologue and a contemporary monologue, and then a cold reading of whatever material was available for the day. And and she helped me with that. And I wound up auditioning for the High School of Performing Arts, and I got in. And from there, I thought, maybe I could actually do this. I got in when I was 13. It was back when it was on 46th Street, and I used to take the A train from Washington Heights, where I lived, 7 o'clock in the morning, and get off at Times Square when it was still porno theaters and
Oh yeah.
hot dogs and
The good old days.
Yeah, it's related with all kinds of stuff that was very strange to a young eye. But then I would walk into the building at PA, and I felt comfortable. I felt like I'd found my community, a place where I could, if I wanted to, I could be, Ziggy Stardust all day long. Just, have a cigarette hanging from my lip and mumble,
Good
the fur
reference.
cape. You know what I mean? And from there again, it was teachers. I had a teacher at the High School of Performing Arts who helped me with my audition for SUNY Purchase, which I got into, and I was able to continue to just play all throughout school. And then I graduated, and I got a job like a week after I graduated, and worked for like 2 years straight, and it just seemed 3 years straight. And it just seemed like, oh well, this is easy, man. This is easy. And then I didn't work. I was like, yeah, this is not so easy. Because I didn't have any other skills, and I didn't have any other desire but to act. So I just,
This was all stage work you were doing?
For a while. This was all stage work, yeah.
Yeah.
I did a stint on the Cosby Show at the same time that I was doing Richard III in the Delacorte in New York with Denzel Washington playing Richard III. And I was Prince Edward of Wales. And then I would go in the daytime and do the Cosby Show, and then at night do some Shakespeare.
Jeez,
so
that's crazy.
And I've had that situation, interestingly enough, at least 3 times where I was working on 2 shows at the same time, including here. I was working on The Walking Dead at the same time I was working on Teen Wolf out in Los Angeles. So thankfully, the producers there were friends, and cut kind of a deal, like for every 7 episodes of this, I would do 2 episodes of that, and they were basically sharing my time because they shot at the same time of the season. That's a long-winded answer, and I don't even know if I answered your fucking question. What was the fucking question?
You actually answered a few questions.
Yeah.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Looking back, when you were at Purchase, you graduated, you're doing stage stuff. What from Purchase did you take with you? Because sometimes I and this is coming from a person who I wasn't institutionally trained, so I'm always fascinated by this. It's one of my biggest regrets. It's something I wish I would have done, or I was able to do. I think it would have instilled the confidence that I probably needed early on in my career. You know, but what are the things that looking
I
back,
took from
that right off
Purchase?
the top of your head, that you were like, okay, I remember this. I was taught this. I was taught that.
Yeah, I think it was 2 things. One, it was the vocal work that I learned, that I studied, and how to use the breath to fill a theater, without shouting. You know what I mean? And also the character study breakdown, little template that they gave me. Like, one of the things being writing out my lines. At one point I was writing out everybody's lines, so I knew everybody's lines in the show, even though I was never going to play, the queen. I could be a queen, but I wasn't going to play the queen. So it was that. It was really the vocal work and the character study.
What would you say was your big break? Oz?
Well, I think Oz helped me to get an audition for The Wire. And my work on The Wire helped me to get this job on The Walking Dead. So I'd have to say Oz is like the gift that keeps on giving for me. You know,
in the feature.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Just in in the feature world, in the '90s, you had
Courage
on the Fire and Starship. Those were big. Those were big movies.
Yeah. Those were big movies. But I was like the fifth guy. You know what I mean? I had some great lines and great scenes, but there were other people carrying the movie. I think Oz, because I was also doing a play when I was doing Oz. I was doing The Misanthrope with Uma Thurman at the Classic Stage Company on 13th and 3rd in New York. I'm not sure if it's still the Classic. It might still be the Classic Stage Company. I haven't been by there in a while. But my hair was blonde. I dyed my hair blonde for the play when I was wearing, this Vivienne Westwood costume, and we were all, I was playing this famous actor in London who's wooing Uma Thurman's character at the same time that the misanthrope was. And there's a scene in Oz where I would have to spray my hair black, go to Ricky's and get the hairspray thing. So I'd spray my hair black, go to the set, and at one point, one of the guys playing the inmates grabs me and pushes me up against the pod, the fiberglass doors that they had. And then it was like a scene from Coming to America because I back off to the thing and there's a big black spot where the back of my head was.
Like the soul glow.
He's like, "What the hell is that?" What is that?
It's my hair.
Yeah, it's my hair. That's my hair. So I think Oz got me. Got me seen in a lot of casting directors' offices at the time, so that really helped to get me past the reading stage with the casting director's assistant, and get me straight to the meeting with the director, which is huge because it's usually you got to do 3 steps. You do the assistant, then you do the casting director, then you do the casting director and the director. And I was going straight to the director because the work that I was doing on Oz, which is great because I was, not preparing like I should have in those days. It was just, just partying a lot. You know what I mean? I was on TV and I'd play and every night was a party.
Yeah, you were. I mean, do you have any, what are some of your best memories working on The Wire?
Some of my best memories are when they put the camera they hitched the camera onto the car and let me drive and you were in the passenger seat. I have this memory of I was just hauling ass and this huge fucking camera hanging off the side of the car. Yeah. Hauling ass, and I turned the corner and there's this woman. The streets were supposed to be locked off.
Oh, yeah. Anthony Hemingway went crazy. Remember that?
The street just flipped out on me. I was like, was that on camera? Because that was a great response. But those days of just driving full speed with the camera hanging off the thing and doing the scenes with you at the same time, in real time, were really some of my secret, most fun times on the show. And, it happened like maybe 3 or 4 times,
Yeah, you were pretty fearless because I think when we did the Shaft episode, which is a great fucking story. I don't know if we should tell the story that preludes the day that we went to work.
You should absolutely tell the story.
You should 100%
story. I might have to tell that story. Okay.
This was before what episode? The Shaft episode?
This is before the Shaft. And a great director and a great human being, Ed Bianchi. Fast Eddie, they call him. And but so go back to what Seth was doing. I'm not sure, but I had to drive with the cameras on the side of the car as well. And these alleys are tight.
Yeah.
They're tight.
Yeah.
So now he's driving. We're talking, and no one fucking just looks straight when they're talking in a car. You're always doing this, and I'm thinking, man, Seth, man, don't look this, one little thing, and we're losing that camera. It's gone. And we're doing the scene, and we're going, and somebody forgot to lock it up. And I remember Anthony Hemingway going crazy. Just because, you're coming out and you can't see left or right. You just go right into the street. I remember that day.
Yeah.
Fucking scary.
What happened?
Yeah.
The camera fell off?
No, but somebody almost got run over.
Yeah, exactly. It's a random pedestrian on a closed set.
I remember shooting a scene. We're shooting a scene of a homicide, of a shooting.
And you almost
Meanwhile,
killed somebody.
there's a real shooting happening 2 blocks over.
Oh my God!
You remember that, Seth?
Yeah.
We're like, oh wait, are these our cops?
Holy
Right.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not shitting you, man.
Baltimore,
Yeah,
man.
That was we were on the west side. Yeah.
Yeah, costumes look a little different, but I think those are our cops, right? No, those are not our cops.
Yeah.
Those are actual cops.
And Perry, I remember Perry, big. Perry was the
Terry Blackman, head of security.
Perry Blackman, head of security. He's like, nope, that's not ours. That happened 2 blocks away.
Wow.
And I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Wow.
It was, but
Now, is that what
okay, so
yeah.
you had beyond these stories.
I'm intrigued.
So Seth and I were living in Tendeco. It's also where they made the mistake of putting some of the directors. And and now mind you, I'm in my 20s at this time. So and look, I wanted to get some weed, couldn't get, had no weed. And I knew Ed had weed. So Seth and I had the bright idea of knocking on his door at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
So we're like, yeah, Eddie's cool. He doesn't do his fucking hair. His hair's all over the place. So let's go knock on his door. So we go knock on his door.
Oh, I would have killed you.
Hello. And Seth, Seth goes, hey Ed, it's Seth and Dom. He goes, all right, hold on. And we're like, we were just wondering, do you have like an extra joint later on? You fucking guys. You remember that? You fucking guys. And so he goes, come in. Let me show you what we're doing tomorrow. He shows. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. He's in his fucking underwears. We're looking for a joint, and he's just showing us all the storyboards of this whole driving sequence which was a big sequence that we had to do.
Did he
moving in and out of these corners all the time and everything?
Did he at least light up a joint?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
Yeah. So nothing. Like, fuck, I'm up. I might as well smoke too. Ed, if you ever listen to this, man, I love you.
That's amazing.
But yeah, see, that's one of like 100 stories. That's why I for me, everybody's like, what do you get out of The Wire? What I got out of The Wire was a family.
Yeah.
It was a learning experience for me. In that respect, I get the whole show. People love the show. But on a personal level, we were some of our parties, we were literally a family. You could call anybody. We always hung out. There was never any riff. There wasn't like, I'm not talking to this one. Just the bullshit that goes on sets. Yeah. Like that. We didn't have that. To this day, I don't bring my cell phone on a set. Mm-hmm. Because you were not allowed to bring a phone to the set. Mm-hmm. And if your phone rang, you had to put money in the jar. So I don't even bring my it's just like crazy stuff like that just stuck with me, that kind of modeled me who I am and my work ethic that I have now. It just added to it. But I remember the scene. And I'm just looking at Seth and I'm like, man, this fucking kid is unbelievable. He does this scene. He hops on the car. So it doesn't say he hops on the car.
He just don't.
The fucking script doesn't say that.
But it's better if he does.
You hop on the car and you start yelling at everybody at the top of your lungs. It doesn't say that. It just says he starts calling people shitbird, and I'm not the shitbird. You're the shitbird. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm like looking around, you know, because sometimes he would just fly off the fucking handle, and I would just like, yeah, okay, looking around, and he fucking jumps on the hood of the car, and for a second I wasn't hurt, I was dumb, like I felt like I was in a theater just looking at like a guy do a play on top of a fucking hood of a car.
That's amazing.
That's great.
And I don't know, that's like a scene that always sticks out, and when I think of Seth, it's like just an association. I remember that, and I was like, man, this kid's fucking unbelievable.
That's awesome.
I love that. It was just
That's
so
amazing.
out of the box.
That's amazing.
So out of the box. And then we would do these. Yeah, go ahead, Seth. Go ahead.
It was there were the high weeds around that little spot that we parked the car in, where we decided to end the chase as the kid goes into the weeds. There were high weeds, and I knew that the camera the wide shot was capturing everything at least 10 feet above my head, you know. I thought, this kid's not going to be able to see, if he's hiding in the weeds, he can't really see me. I need to be someplace where he can see me, because he needs to hear what I have to say. You know what I mean? So it seemed like the top of the car was the best place for it. I'm glad they kept it.
That's great.
Yeah, that just adds a new dynamic to him screaming into weeds versus him going on top of the car, screaming down.
It was just
That is amazing. Like, the more you think about it.
I don't, people watching it probably think a certain, that's the way it was written. As an actor, a person who knows what was in the script, and then I'm seeing it unfold in front of me. Mm-hmm. I was blown away by it. I loved it. I was like, this is so out of the box, and it made me, this is all my education.
Yeah.
This is what I'm telling. This is what I'm talking about. This is all my education.
Do most directors get annoyed when you change a scene like that, or
he didn't change the scene?
No, he didn't, but he changed
brought
the spot.
something to the scene.
Yes, he made it better. I mean,
I think that was Ed Bianchi, right? It was Ed,
Yeah.
and I had a feeling from having accosted him at 4:00 in the morning, and that I could do anything that I wanted. That he was going to be open for me to do whatever I wanted.
He was always open.
So that gave me the freedom of like, all right, the director likes me. I'm gonna go with my impulses and my instincts. And
we also had very few. We also had very few rotating directors.
Yeah.
Right. They would come in and they were very few, but they would come in and do maybe 2 or 3 episodes, maybe 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they have a sense of who you are and how you're playing this character. It kind of makes things easier. There's also this freedom. But I think by that particular time, I think everybody knew their character. Not to say that just because you know your character, you don't get any direction. It's just that I think when we made certain choices, I remember making a choice. I remember making a choice that wasn't on the page. It was visiting, and it wasn't written this way. It was we were going after Bodie, and we break into the house. We knock the door down. We go into the house. The grandmother's there. No Bodie.
Yeah.
So now, Herc is like a bull in a china shop, It's like, and I said, I didn't want to play it that way. I just didn't want to play it that way because playing the character, I always knew in the back of my mind, okay, you're going to work today, you're playing Herc, and you have the best intentions for the people. Yeah, you're a screwball. Yeah, you do dirty shit. Yeah, you do all this, but you do it to bad people.
Deep down, good guy.
So I knew that, and I knew that this was an innocent lady. This was, and I said, well, if there's gonna be a time, if there's ever a time where they allow me to play something other than a fucking bully, it's gonna be now. And that was early on. That was the first season because I kind of knew no one changed. That's also the other thing with The Wire. Nobody really changed because people in life very rarely do they change.
No.
They might change their occupation. They might change the way they dress. They might change the way they look, but they don't change who they are. And The Wire shows that. You put Herb in a suit. You put him working for the maid. It's no different than him wearing a badge around his neck and a baseball cap. No different.
And that's how it is in real life.
Right. And so it's like it.
I remember that day. I remember that scene, and I remember you being conflicted about it. I think I was encouraging you to play it the way you wanted to play it. You know,
I was afraid. Like I told you, this was my first big show. It was my first year, and I didn't want to create any waves, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should just do what's on the page. And
I think it was a better choice.
Yeah, and you just go with your instincts sometimes, and you did encourage me. I remember that. You encouraged me to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
There was another scene. It'll come to me. I think it might have been at the basketball courts or something like that.
Yeah.
And Seth brought up a good point one time. He goes, we don't get the credit for finding everybody. You remember that? We don't get the credit for finding everybody, but we did find everybody. Everybody based on what we did or whatever crooked thing we did, right? With the confidential informant, or finding the nail gun or the nail in the street that led to the house, or finding Avon Barksdale at the game.
Yeah.
Herc and Carver never get the credit.
No. Which is a shame.
Yeah.
Because you're low on the ladder. That's it.
Why, Seth? What do you think? What do you think the idea? What's behind that?
I think they thought that we were just grunts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably like that in real life.
That was our job. Yeah, you're supposed to find things. Now get out of the way so the real people can speak on it.
The politicians and the
they can take the credit for
big
and
shots.
the lieutenants and the
Yeah.
whatever Lance played.
It's messed up.
Lieutenant, right?
I think we're gonna put Seth in the hot seat.
Uh-oh.
Because I think I know some of the answers to these
It's
questions.
heating up.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna write something down.
Okay. This is like
I want to see if this is how he answers this question.
Oh, is this like the fucking
This is-
dating game?
No,
Match
this is
game?
the newlywed
The
game.
newlywed. Strangest place you ever made whooping.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
butt.
See that? Can you guys see that? I'll write it down. I'll show you guys later. Okay. What's
What do you got?
one of your biggest pet peeves?
People chewing with their mouths open.
What the fuck did I just write that?
Yes.
I cannot
What did I
stand
put?
that.
Oh, he's got
What did
it.
I write?
He's got it.
Yeah.
Chew with
No,
your mouth
I
open.
mean that's
That's great.
It was like I was fucking afraid to eat next to him sometimes.
there's one thing you gotta do when you eat is shut your mouth.
Yeah, let me tell you, sometimes you smoke half a joint and you just lose control.
You lose control
of
your mouth.
Yeah.
That's different though. That's different.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna write the answer to this one.
Oh, this is good. How long you guys been married?
We just know each other really well. You're on a karaoke stage.
Mm-hmm.
What song are you singing?
I've been doing a lot of karaoke lately.
That's great.
I've got a huge rotation.
Yes.
It'd be it would be most likely a Beatles song.
I didn't think that's not what I thought.
Which
But
one?
my go-to lately has been "Young Americans" by David Bowie.
No.
I'm telling you, David Bowie
That's your second Bowie reference in this.
I had Prince.
I'm a big fan.
I go through that too. I go through Bowie.
Prince is hard to do karaoke because there's lots of falsetto and high.
It's too much.
Things, and you want to hit them. You feel compelled to hit them, and then you hurt people's ears. So it's hard.
Yeah. I respect a man with a good 5-song karaoke rotation. I do. Because you have to read the room. You have your 5 songs. You get out there, you look at the room, and you say, what's going to kill right now? With me, probably nothing ends up killing.
Here we go.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what's your excuse?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say I was good at it. In my mind, when I'm drunk, it's really fantastic. When I get the video sent to me the next day, it's not so hot.
If you could go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice, how old are you and what's that piece of advice?
It's deep.
I would be 7 years old.
Wow.
And my advice to me would be, women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know.
Fleetwood Mac.
I drop a little Fleetwood Mac on my
At 7, so you were already, checking out the ladies at 7. He was like, all right.
No, I think 7 is when I started is when I first recognized that girls were different than boys.
Right.
It wasn't just that they had different bathrooms,
Wow.
You have a question?
Yeah, it's funny. I asked this last time to our last guest, and I really enjoyed the answer. So prior to all of this, this acting life, I'm sure you had some jobs growing up. You ever been fired from a job?
Yeah, I got fired from a waitering job at the old Mayflower Hotel that used to be on 59th Street between Central Park West and Broadway. I was working the morning afternoon shift. I would have to come in and do breakfast and lunch. And one day there was a woman who was one of the managers who was just a horrible woman. A horrible woman. And one day I told her she was a horrible woman. Just a horrible woman. And she fired me. And I said, yes, I didn't expect to work here any longer. I just had to.
It's great.
It must have
That
felt
should be
great.
a poem.
No,
I'm telling
Just a horrible woman.
Just a horrible woman.
He's
Just
totally
a horrible woman.
he's totally right, because we've all had serving jobs as well, and I've worked for horrible men and women. But these people, too many people skate through life without anybody actually telling them that they're a piece of shit. And that moment's pretty gratifying, even if it costs you.
Well, when I quit my last job, she asked me why I quit, and I told her you were the reason why I'm quitting. And that felt so good, just to get it off my chest.
Now you take this recording of Seth next time, and you just hit play, and he goes, "You're a horrible woman."
Horrible. I should have said that. You're a horrible
Well, it's a way, some people need a wake-up call, man.
Yeah.
Some people need to be called out on their bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pat?
I just, my question is, I want to know your guys' relationship. Like, you said you guys lived together for a year. What'd you guys do for fun? Did you go out, bars, stay home?
Yeah, we went out to local bars. We played a lot of Madden. I watched Dom make a lot of pasta.
Did he make his own sauce down there or no?
No, I brought the sauce.
He brought the sauce, but it was always, something from home. It was either a bottle of wine from him and his father's winery that they had there. What kind of home is Dom coming from? He's got bottles of wine. He knows how to make his own sauce. This is some real Italian shit. I like this.
What was his best dish he made you?
Just pasta.
Just pasta?
Yeah, just pasta. Yeah, nothing fancy. Just, good sauce.
He's out of the
Good
carbonara
sauce.
now.
We
know
would.
what I
I would bring food home from if we worked.
Yeah.
I would bring food, but we did like that fried chicken place though.
Yes.
Remember that
Yeah.
place?
Sound like a
What
good
was
one.
it called? You remember the name?
I do not remember the name of it. I'm searching for it right now.
Oh God!
In Baltimore.
In Baltimore.
Baltimore.
With some local hot sauce?
I can't. He
can't eat hot sauce.
You can eat spicy stuff. I can't eat spicy
I
stuff.
need hot sauce on my chicken.
It was on the same street as all the strip bars. It was across
that's
the street from the
perfect.
strip bars.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was the
man.
best fried chicken in Baltimore.
Were they open late?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
perfect.
were.
That's what we would do. We would go out, have a drink, and you know.
That's a great night.
Yeah, I mean, the only times we didn't go out is we were working.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Those were the only nights we didn't like. If you
No.
knew you were working the next day, we just didn't do that.
No stories of coming in hungover or.
No.
No, you can't.
You can't, right? It's like it throws you all off. You can't. You can't even.
I got drunk one night. It's not why I was doing Courage Under Fire. And I think we were in El Paso, Texas, and I went out to some dive bar and got really drunk. And then we were doing the scenes on the helicopter the next day, taking off and doing all around.
No,
Not
thank
good.
you.
And Matt Damon looked at me at one point. He said, "He doesn't drink on the job. He just gets so fucked up the night before."
That's great. Yes.
That's great.
It happens. It happens.
It does happen.
Not on the wire. We were pretty good then.
And how's your experience been on The Walking Dead?
This has been a surreal experience. I mean, I came on this show in the 5th season, the 2nd episode of the 5th season, and it was already a runaway train. You know,
Right.
I was jumping on the side and trying to
Well-oiled
pull myself
machine.
into a car. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was by far the #1 show in the world. And the fan base it's a very dedicated and loyal fan base, but they had trouble distinguishing me from Father Gabriel. So
That happens with the Comic-Con people.
yeah, I was getting a lot of personal hatred at the same time that I was, riding as high on as an actor can ride on a TV show, and it made me very leery of the fan base. You know, I think it's only been recently where I've gotten comfortable with how they see me and how to navigate that particular world. But the work they've given me to do on the show, and this is my 7th season on the show, has really been some challenging and fun stuff to play. I mean, I play a character who's, loses faith, he's got faith, he can't kill, he kills, it's been kind of a psychological and emotional roller coaster performing on it. But I think it's made me stronger as an actor, and it's afforded me a chance to see the world. I mean, I like the Johnny Cash song, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
That's really cool.
Well, I just said to me, when you should take that as a compliment that the fan base, hates you so
I
much.
can take it as a compliment. Sure, you feel that way about Father Gabriel. That's fantastic. Don't say, Seth, you're an asshole because you did this. Because then I have to be like,
I know, yeah.
who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I was trying. That's just very similar to what my whole thing with Entourage was.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get, people.
People are still bitter about that.
Let me tell you, there are people that are really rude and can't separate what they see in that box that's in front of them.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing I said. I said, I hated Father Gabriel because he's so wishy-washy. Yeah. But in turn, that's what I admire about Seth as an actor.
But here's the difference. There are people that will go up to Seth and say, man, I hate you. You're an asshole.
That's not right.
I'm not the asshole.
There's
the
no
character's
shortage.
the asshole.
Yeah.
People don't make that distinction.
There's no
That's the
shortage
problem.
of stupid people in the
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Did you come on? Was Larry still there? When you
He was. I came on and he had about 3 or 4 episodes left.
Okay. You just keep breaking the 10 Commandments. I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast.
Outstanding,
man. And
Seth.
Absolutely,
chatting with
man.
us. And Seth and I are talking about doing something regarding The Wire and revisiting the show together. So stay tuned for that. And
It's just nice to see you guys working together again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I wish. Hopefully, one day we'll be on the same campus again. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be a real treat.
Do you guys speak a lot, or every once in a while?
We text. We have a mutual friend. It's here's the thing. It's you could go 6 months, 7 months without talking to somebody, and then when you text, you pick up right where you left off.
But that's
It's a
a,
story
that's a
with dudes.
great type of
thing.
relationship. It really is.
We understand. Seth has a family. Seth, is busy working, busy. We get how this business could be.
Yeah.
You know, and you need to move away from it and be with your family, and that's where you recharge yourself.
Yeah.
Get grounded.
You know, but never have I not called him. He's not picked up the phone or gotten back to me. Vice versa. It just isn't that way.
The reason I ask is I would think you guys talk every day. You know, it's like
That's what I'm saying.
it's unbelievable.
It was easy.
Picking up where we left off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, yeah.
And but hopefully we can get this thing off the ground, and then we have a whole bunch of Wire people, and it'll be great, and we can share some really good
I
stories.
like the sound of that.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, my friend. I love you.
All right.
Stay safe out there.
All right. You too.
All right.
Thanks,
All right.
Thanks, Seth.
It was
Later,
a
buddy.
Hey, guys, nice to meet you.
Bye.
honor and a pleasure. Thank
Pleasure,
you.
dude.
All right. Bye bye.
See ya.